lasting memories for generations to come. I mean, so many of us love to travel. So many of us kind of get the opportunity now because of low-cost airfares. And what most of you don't know is that with the booming economy basically overseas, a million more travelers are actually able to partake. From China and Southeast Asia, this is huge. This is the inflection point where there are actually more people in the middle class globally than in poverty. So as more people get passports and you get to travel overseas. So what we're trying to do is basically provide that unique experience. But before I get started, let me just give you a bit of a background on who I am. I'm a 24-year veteran of the hospitality industry. I'm a graduate of the Culinary Institute of America, as well as Cornell Hotel School. I spent about 14 years in operations. Started my first job in Boston Market, washing dishes, and worked my way up. And then I went into real estate finance. And over that time, I underwrote about $5.5 billion in hospitality-related assets. And part of that process, I've toured thousands of hotels, from Four Seasons in Ritz-Carltons to, say, roadside motels in Atlantic City, Four Seasons in Southern California. I've seen basically everything there. But it really wasn't until I went and traveled 24,901 miles around the world, that's the circumference of the earth, did I realize, there's a better experience out there that hotels today just aren't. So I came back, and then I drove more than 2,000 miles in Uber, just asking people, hey, where'd you go travel? What do you like to do? Where'd you go see? Where'd you go eat? Kind of, what's your experience like? To craft the Alchemist Hostel.
I'm sorry, can you use the mic? Because I'm having trouble here. Thank you.
Is this okay?
I don't think it's on.
Try again.
It's on. This is like
is this okay?
Yeah.
All right. So I ended up traveling around the world, basically experienced everything from Koreas to Southeast Asia, Middle East, and it was over that time that I realized hotels just don't offer the experience that we're looking for. So I went out and I drove another 2,000 miles through rideshare, asking people travel questions. Hey, what do you like to do? Why do you stay at an Airbnb instead of a hotel? What are you looking for? And so that's how I came up. Basically what today's desired travel experience is. Everybody really wants the comforts of a hotel. They want to feel safe and secure in their hotel room. People are also looking for eco-friendly design. Climate change and people's carbon footprint is big these days. Most of all, people when they go travel, it's a new destination, right? So they're looking for the adventure, the engagement, the connection. Something you typically find in a private tour company or in a hostel. But hotels just aren't able to provide this. Most of all, people are looking for value. Whether you're spending $1,000 a night or $10 a night, you're looking for some sort of value. So companies like Marriott, Hilton, Expedia, they pour millions of dollars into research to find out kind of what are you looking for? What's the experience that you're looking for? And so these are kind of what they've come up with. 3 out of 4 of us are looking for eco-friendly design when we're out traveling. We'll actually choose a property because it's LEED certified and kind of give you back to you right. If you're an avid traveler, you travel 3 to 4 times a year, you're looking for new experiences. You've seen all the museums, you've done all the walking tours, you're looking for something different when you get out there. If we dig a little deeper, for millennials, it's 4 out of 5, right? Millennials have this mentality. They want to post something on the internet, say that they've done something different. But with Gen Z, we're actually seeing something kind of unique. They've grown up in the shadow of the Great Recession. So they're actually looking for more affordable accommodations. And they're going to use that money to go on the experiences that they're going to remember 10, 15, 20 years down the road. Maybe tell their kids about, that time where you went to North Korea. They want to remember those unique experiences. This is where Alchemist Hostels. This is kind of the problem that we see. If you're traveling to urban destinations, affordable, hotel rates are going through the roof, student debt is doubling, rent's going up, so people's travel budgets are shrinking and shrinking. Eco-friendly. There's really not any supply in urban destinations that are eco-friendly. If they are, they're super expensive, right? And then the experience. Typically with hotels, Good. Okay. Typically with hotels, you know, it's that check-in mentality. Like, greet and forget. You check in, you get your key, and you go to your room. Even now with new technology, you don't even have to talk to anybody. You can get it downloaded from the app, you can go straight to your room, check in. You can stay for a week and never talk to anybody. And then there are short-term rentals. You know, short-term rentals are becoming more kind of, say, standardized. You know, you have professional management companies, a lot of people with, say, 20 listings. And so there's no local experience. So this is where Alchemist Hostels is set. We're going to handcraft the travel memories. We're going to make things more affordable for you to travel. I like to think of it this way. We're an eco-friendly cruise ship in the middle of the city. Small rooms, but big on adventure. You're not just coming to tour the city, we're actually going to go with you while you're out traveling. And we're going to fill this in 3 ways. We're developing sleeping pods. Our sleeping pods are developed with recycled and biomaterials, so giving back to the environment. You know, make sure that people come to stay with us. We're reducing their carbon footprint. But they're also going to be integrated with AI. If you've ever stayed at a Courtyard by Marriott, you walk into the lobby and they have that big go board, right? You can go, you can play with it, you can figure out what activities are in town, the weather, traffic. So instead, we're going to be putting one of these in each pod, so you can be in your room and figure out what's going on, what activities and adventures that we're sponsoring, and you can sign up. We're doing engaging common space. When you come in out of the lobbies, the staff isn't just milling around. You have to go, hey, can I get there? They're going to engage. They're going to find out why you're there. They're going to figure out kind of what you want to do. And say, hey, we have a tour. Why don't you come with us? You're in a new destination, right? You're not sure what to do. You can go on Google. You can search what to do in Seattle, right? You're going to get 27 million hits. How do you choose? There's 30 sites you can look at. How do you know what to trust? So our staff is basically your connection to get out into the community. Thirdly, is these activities. You can go to the museums, you can go on Google and go to the big events. Space Needle is great. What about going sledding up in Snoqualmie? What about doing a sunrise hike out in Issaquah? Go see the sunrise behind Mount Rainier. It's these kind of unique, handcrafted experiences people want today. So this is kind of the experience that Alchemist Hostels is going to provide. And so I'm actually going to speak for a moment. You know, I love my grandmother. I see her pretty much every week, and I love chatting with her and her friends. Because we always chat about their history, where they came from. My grandmother grew up in the Philippines. She immigrated. We always talk about, you know, what are your regrets? You know, what are you glad you did? And they always come up with this. 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by what you didn't do than by what you did do. Those experiences you didn't take a chance on. Those chances you had to go out and explore. So we're trying to change that. So that, you know, when you're older, you can say, yes, I went out, I explored, I dreamed, and I discovered. Thank you. Any questions?
Can you? That was very cool. So the statistic about one comment. The statistic about the Gen Z kind of moving toward the affordability and experience. I'm seeing similar statistic looking in other industries. So that's the experience being more important than a physical thing.
Yeah.
But that is something that is, I feel, is spot on. And so I love that shift of focus away from a room where you isolate yourself more toward like incentivizing getting out of it to go experience other people. Can you kind of like sort of paint the picture of what it's like to be inside a pod?
Yeah. So we're designing it to be about 100 square feet. So you have basically an extra large full-size bed, and then you get the turning radius. So everyone's going to be ADA compliant. So you get that 60-inch turning radius. Basically, when we walk in, basically you have a bed, you'll have a screen, a small desk. The price point we're looking at is about $100 to $125 a night. If you're looking at rates in downtown Seattle during summertime, I mean, it's $300. say Citizen M. Citizen M is a big brand that came out. The rooms are modular construction, 150 square feet. If you go to Boston during the summer, it's $350 to $400 a night. Is that really affordable?
That's wild.
Yeah.
That, I'm actually 20% tourism tax on top of that. So it's actually
Oh,
about 60 a night,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
My question if you're done. So I really like this idea too. I like to travel in a similar fashion. I guess my question is, what wasn't clear to me is this like at one location? Is this a thing they're going to franchise out? Are you going to have multiple locations? What was that kind of plan for this?
So we're actually, the intention is to kind of owner operate, control the experiences. If we become a platform similar to Airbnb, then you're relying upon those people to provide that experience. And if you can't really control that, then it kind of gets away from the mission. And also we're planning on starting in Los Angeles and then kind of build out from there. If you know anything about In-N-Out burgers, okay? They started in Southern California, I know, they're fantastic. But they only go out as far as their distribution allows them, so they can actually control the street. So we go from LA down to San Diego, up to San Francisco. We can actually provide those excursions out to Joshua Tree National Park, say Yosemite National Park, provide connection points so that if somebody wants to go spend 2 days out in Yosemite, see, okay, we have transportation going out there. We contracted with another party, you can go glamping out there. And then the bus will continue on to San Francisco and basically provide this kind of web network for travelers. If you've ever been to Southeast Asia, I mean, it's easy to get around. There's a strong network. And typically in hostels, you'd be like, hey, I need to get to this other city. And they're more than happy to arrange public transportation and sleeping buses to get you.
Yeah. It sounds like an upgraded hostel experience.
Yeah, it's basically blending, the comforts of an upscale hotel with basically the active environment of a hostel.
So if you consider, having the ability, kind of playing off of what you're talking about, of having almost a mobile version of this to go to like large events. Like I've lived the last 20 years in Augusta, Georgia, and housing during the Masters is unbelievable. I rented my house last year for $12,500 for 5 days. Okay, and my neighbor, who has a much larger house, was $20,000 because it was free. So there's some homes that go for $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 for a week. So I mean, there's places like this. Is there a method that you can see where you can take your house, put them in a temporary thing, and make that for these places where there's this small insurgence of population, they might really benefit from having the positive.
Definitely a possibility. What we kind of see is basically there'd be a headquarters in the central part of the city. And then because of the pods, we could actually have smaller little locations in the neighborhoods. Say, a 30 beds up in Capitol Hill, or say out in Ballard, like the small little hip neighborhoods, where you don't get that full year-round demand like you do in kind of the urban parts, the central part of the city.
Are you familiar with tickets in New York?
Tickets?
Ticket. T-I-C-K-T. So
No.
basically, they take whatever ticket that was unsold for Broadway or without that, and they try to sell it. People line up like crazy.
Oh yeah, I love that idea.
So it sounds like you're trying to make what's available that most people don't know about and making it better.
That would basically so instead of our sales and marketing team on property going out to meet with, say, corporate entities to put heads in beds, they'd actually go out to, say, companies like that, go out to people that provide those experiences, say, hey, listen, we got 300 beds, typically 80% occupancy, we got a ton of people that want to go out and explore the city. We'll buy your tickets. We can basically fill the group to fill your venue, just because of those unique experiences.
I'm just trying to get my head wrapped around affordability
Yep.
and then having great discovery. But how are the discoveries coming about? Are you crafting?
So that's the sales and marketing. It's going out and basically, since there are local experts, the people actually live in the community. Who's better to basically know what's going on? It's like the housekeepers. What we envision is they're not just sitting there cleaning rooms 5 days a week. 2 days a week, they're cleaning rooms. And another 2 days, they're actually taking guests out on those kind of events. Adventures, say, Filipino festival. It's something that I would go to, but somebody who is not from here wouldn't know anything about it. But a housekeeper might. It also provides them the opportunity to earn tips and generate additional income.
So obviously, like, land is expensive. I don't know. I mean, I'm just curious, like, you have an underwriting background. Like, I'm just curious as to how that, I don't know, I'm just asking. I don't know anything. If you could share it, I'm just curious how that would work, or what's the idea behind that? How does that work?
Yeah, so the question was basically, how does the underwriting work? How is it profitable if you're, what I'm understanding.
So
if you're charging $100 to $125. So since the pods are about 100 square feet, say a typical upscale hotel room is about 350 square feet. And they're going to charge, say, $300. You can get the same rate as an upscale hotel, say 3 pods, about the same size. But because our cleaning costs, our operating costs are lower, more drops to the bottom line, and so it's a better investment.
So what do you think is like your biggest challenge as you look ahead at this company and say, like, what's your biggest hurdle or something that you're not so sure about, or biggest question mark for you?
Is there enough space in the city? To basically, kind of the consent, there's a lot of people out there saying, we're kind of at the height of the market. Is it better to buy? Is it better to lease at this moment? Is kind of what I interacted with my advisors about. It's like, okay, you don't want to get caught at the top. You also don't want to lease at too high of a rate. I have some great advisors. One used to run the capital markets for Citigroup and Lehman Brothers. Another one, she quadrupled the size of Sonder. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with that. They're kind of like Airbnb. They'll lease out basically floors of buildings as short-term rentals. So she was actually able to help quadruple their size. And then I have a couple of hotel developers that love the idea and are actually helping out kind of source locations and kind of wrap my head around the actual cost of building out something like this.
Does that kind of sorry, is there someone else? Go ahead.
I know that my husband already talked to you about the accessibility of the pod, which that's his job. But my question is that having these experiences, right, these local experiences. So how are you going to make my I know that our population so far, as far as online, is kind of on the low side so far. But you're providing an affordable source for us to as well and experiences. How are you going to make sure that there's something that's accessible to us as far as the experiences? Because the experiences themselves, how are you going to make sure that someone like in a wheelchair can participate in the experiences that are out there?
Yeah. So the question was basically, how do we provide accessibility? And that's a tough question, and I'm glad you asked it. It's one of those where it's kind of a toss up. There's like hikes and stuff that are, a bit more difficult. But they're
like, wait.
but they're incredible trips. Say instead of catching a fish down at Pike Place Market, going on a boat, a chartered fishing boat, I think is reasonable.
So my suggestion, and I don't know anything, so forgive me for this all, but I would make maybe like special promotion, particularly for maybe a small group of people with either disabilities or elderly, and do something specific for that investment. Maybe offer trips like that, or opportunities like that. Just have
that's a great idea.
what I've seen before. Makes us feel better because we're not holding up as a group. And we're so far from including other people that have to do that.
Group travel is huge these days, whether it's just friend groups or family groups. So it's definitely something we do.
Yeah, well, when you mentioned space is sort of one of those unknowns right now. So when you're thinking about, you also mentioned a few locations in California that you, I believe you said that kind of where you envision kind of starting.
We're looking at LA start. Yeah.
Is that because of inventory of space? Like, what is that? Like, what's the
Yeah,
primary?
it's a temperate climate. So a lot of our sales and marketing is around the social events and getting people out there. And every event and activity offers a great social media moment. And a temperate climate such as Los Angeles, lots of sunny days, coming to Seattle in the winter is a little rough sometimes.
You want to move to California, that's for sure.
No, I used to live in California.
Is there a reason why you chose the name Hostel as part of your brand? Because
I understand the stigma around it.
what's the reason for that?
Because it invokes a type of culture that many people, especially the millennials, have studied abroad and stayed in hostels. And so they still have that kind of memory of a hostel where they had a great time. And they kind of think about it, dorm type settings. So that's why we can draw people in with the kind of more private, the pods. People like, I still get the culture, I get the privacy, and I'm saving money.
So it's more of the past experience that you were going for rather than a budget or for a segment.
Yeah, so we're basically trying to draw from 4 segments. Basically, you have the existing hostel market in the States. It's only 492 million for US and Canada. If you look at spending on hostels, in Europe, for total tourism spending, it's about $3.77 per travel. In the US, it's 27 cents. You would think there would be something comparable because there's actually more travelers in the States than Europe for leisure purposes. So there are no properties.
Anecdotally, I can speak. So I guess somebody who used to be very restricted in like my travel budget as a younger person.
Yeah.
I have a lot of my sort of coming of age sort of fun memories were built around. But I'm also somebody who traveled abroad. I'm very kind of maybe a niche, maybe exactly your lighthouse customer. And now I have I still want to experience. I miss sort of like meeting new people in new places. Like some of these experiences are just like drinking beers in a hostel in Prague or whatever. Just meeting a flight attendant from Singapore and going on a booze cruise with guys from England. And so like being able to like capture some of that again as an adult and have my own private space where I feel like I'm still having the amenities of I think that's a great. The word hostel to me actually is a bonus in your Instagram anecdote.
Thank you. Any other questions I can answer?
So this requires a physical build out of the entire hostel, the structure, building, and it has X number of pods, I guess a communal space for restroom, shower, and all that stuff. You need to actually build it from ground up.
No, we're not doing ground up construction.
Okay.
That just takes way too long.
Right.
How does that work? The typical renovation timeline is about 24 to 36 months. Basically, with the pod, what we're developing is basically, think of IKEA furniture, right? It's supposedly easy to assemble. So basically, tilting up walls, everything's prefabricated.
Prefab brought in. Existing building.
Basically, you bring it in kind of flat pack, and then when you get to the floors, you can basically bolt everything together. Connect it to the MEP system that's already been built out. And then you're basically good to go. We're kind of envisioning is more of the living walls and more of like a local flora kind of decor. So we walk around, Pacific Northwest, ivy, to also walk out the elevator and actually smell plants instead of cleaner. Right. Think of the pods being in the Amazon spheres, right? To wake up, come out of your room, and you get these plants around, soothing for the soul, great experience.
All right. So my question is about the pods as well. How much of that is like something that you can just get mostly off the shelf from existing manufacturers of pod-like constructions versus you having to specify all the requirements of the construction pieces?
Yeah, so I actually spent a considerable amount of time reaching out to people that develop the open floor plans, those meeting rooms and those phone booths. All of them were just like, no, it's not something we want to get into. There's lots of various components out there, and nothing's really been built and assembled that kind of meets all of these needs.
Not even in Japan?
There's some cheap pods out there. I mean, they're also using lots of plastic, in that construction. So we're trying to get away from that.
What would your primary construction material be then?
Recycled plastics or biomaterials. Be fun. So the typical hotel lifespan is that every 7 to 10 years, Marriott and Hilton go, all right, so we changed our prototype. You got to take everything and you got to get rid of it. You got to put in this new stuff. And so they typically just take that and throw it away, or the couches they'll give away. So our product is actually better for the environment because it's using recycled materials and then able to use it for another use, say for low-income housing or some other better use in 7 to 10 years. Yeah.
What do you envision the first property? I guess the first properties were like.
Where?
When?
So total development timeline from today, I'm thinking about 2022. First one in operation. There are a couple assets in downtown Los Angeles.
Yeah. So just from the discussion here that I heard, I think that you need to talk with Amy a bit, because she's working on some things here for this area of the website. So I just want to make sure that you think about when you're looking at things you can do for those who might have disability. You're looking at that as kind of an event experience type thing, right, on the website. So just to want to remind you that you were sitting here talking to her, I didn't know if you knew each other. So
No
there's
idea.
the connection. So we got to be checked.
Well, so thank you very much for your time today. Appreciate it. Any more questions?
All right, thank you. Awesome stuff. Cool. Thank you guys for being here, and I don't really have much else to say but to just connect and make sure to get your stuff going. Yeah.
And apply to present.
Oh, and apply to present. If you haven't already, then go to 1millioncubs.com/Seattle to apply to present. And Kenzie has something.
Also, if you're interested, the organizer talks to either Lee, myself, or
I'm obviously a really great organizer, getting all the good information out. So yeah, apply to present, and if you're interested to help organize, then let us know. Thank you guys for being here.
Do you know who's up next week?
Like you just have, like it's those smaller mid-sized cities that do really well with local news. But it's such a large city for some reason. For many people, just struggle to create a sustainable community. You gotta have usually like 2 presenters a week is the goal. So it's like under presentations a year. So it is really challenging. I imagine like I don't know.
Actually, in San Francisco,
It's like how often you go back and forth.
actually, they're promoting the sisters out here. So a lot of